Ah. Oh, I'm live. I was waiting for it to go live, and apparently I am live. All right. So I thought today to include the Dhammapada, which is a collections of sayings by the Buddha. And I always think of the Dhammapada as basically sort of like the Buddha's Sermon on the Mount. So if Jesus has his Sermon on the Mount in the beginning of Matthew's Gospel, where sort of the teachings are just laid out, and I will actually begin talking about that tomorrow when I do the Yoga of Jesus Part 2. We'll start getting into the Sermon on the Mount. And again, I just want to point out, I'll say it here now, in the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus does not teach us to believe in him. He does not tell us what to believe at all, but he gives us teachings on how to behave, right? And so the Buddha is going to sort of do the same thing in the Dhammapada. The word Dhammapada is from the Buddha's original language. Remember, Buddha, or whether you remember or not, you may not know this. The Buddha did not speak Sanskrit, which was sort of the language of the priestly classes. He spoke the common language of Pali. And so Dhamma, again, not being a Sanskrit scholar and not even, and being even less so a Pali scholar, uh, but the way I understand it is Dhamma is the Pali equivalent of the Sanskrit Dharma. And although in Hinduism, Dharma could be sort of like your path, or could Dharma could be like your sort of your responsibilities, the way you're supposed to behave based on the class that you're in. In Buddhism, Dharma is more of the teaching of the Buddha, the correct teaching. So Dharma or Dhamma for the Buddha is this sort of truth. The Dharma is the truth. It's the truth about reality. It's the truth about how to be. And pada comes from the word, and I think it's the same in Sanskrit too. It's actually the word for foot. And so the extension of that is it's not the foot of truth, but it's like the way. It's like the foot is also can be used as like the way or the path. So this is the path of truth or the path of true reality is what Dhammapada means. And or we could say, if for those of you like me who like Taoism, we could say it's the Tao of truth, right? It's the way, it's the process, the 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 process of truth, the way of truth, the road of truth, which I guess would be the word that Jesus would use if he spoke Pali. In John, where he says, "I am the way, the truth, and the life," he would say, "I am the Pada, the Dhamma, and I don't know what the word for life is. Maybe it'll come up." So it begins back to the Dhammapada. Let's just read this again. I'm going to read as much as possible, as little commentary as possible. I may add something if I think it will be illuminating, but I'm just going to try to let the Buddha speak for himself in this. Other than I can see the very first verse, I am going to add a little commentary. So part one of the Dhammapada is called the Twin Verses, and where that name comes from is basically. Let me have a sip of tepid tea. The twin verses basically in this first part, he's going to have two sets of he's going to have two sets of comparisons. So there's going to be sort of like the verse that is about the world or the conditioned existence or the way people generally behave and like to behave or think they're supposed to behave. And then he's going to have the verse that's about the way that is actually the true way to behave, the way of the Dhamma or the Dharma or the way of the Eightfold Path, the way of truth. Okay, so that's what's going on. That's all the twin verses mean. They're sort of it's what Jesus does actually in the Sermon on the Mount, where he says, "You have heard it said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, but I now tell you, if anyone strikes you on the right cheek, offer him the left cheek also." Right? So it's twin verses. You have heard it said, well, now I'm telling you this. Buddha's kind of doing the same thing. He's going to tell you the way of the world, he's going to tell you the way of truth. Okay? So this is what we're doing. So the twin verses. Our life, sorry, my tongue. Our life is shaped by our mind. Our life is shaped by our mind. We become what we think. Suffering follows an evil thought as the wheels of a cart follow the oxen that draw it. Actually, I'm going to stop, go back to our life is shaped by our minds. We become what we think. Basically, here's the deal. Everything you are now, here's the commentary I said I wouldn't do, but I'm going to make this a short commentary. Everything you are now is based on everything you thought before, because those thoughts led to feelings, they led to actions, and they led you to be where you are now. And everything you will be in the future, and I know a lot of you are afraid about the future. Well, everything you will be in the future you will live in is the future that results from the thoughts you are thinking right now, because they will lead to feelings and actions that will shape what you will become. We are always in a state of becoming. We are not being, we are becoming. So we need to change the names from human beings to human becomings, right? We are always in a state of becoming. And so our life, says the Buddha, is shaped by our minds, because that's where we think, right? We become what we think. What you think now, if you think good things, you will become good things. Good things will be in your life. If you think bad things, you will become bad things. And bad things will be a part of your life. So our life is shaped by our minds. We become what we think. Suffering follows an evil thought as the wheels of a cart follow the oxen that draw it. Our life is shaped by our mind. We become what we think. Joy follows a pure thought, like a shadow that never leaves. So see what he's doing here? I told you it's going to be the twin verses, the way of the world, the way of truth. All right, the way of the world is we like having evil thoughts, right? We do it all the time. We wish bad things on people. Somebody cuts us off in traffic and we curse them and do whatever, and I hope you get in an accident, or whatever people say, or you jerk. The evil thought creates suffering for us and creates who we become in the future. Enough evil, let's get rid of the word evil, but enough negative thoughts, right? If we have enough negative thoughts, we become negative people. If we have enough complaining thoughts, we become complaining people, right? But if we have enough grateful thoughts, we become grateful people. If we have enough sort of praising thoughts, we become praising people. So that's what's going on here, I think. Anyway, enough from me. The Buddha continues. He was angry with me. He attacked me. He defeated me. He robbed me. Those who dwell in such thoughts will never be free from hatred. He was angry with me. He attacked me. He defeated me. He robbed me. Those who do not dwell on such thoughts will surely become free from hatred. For hatred can never be for hatred can never put an end to hatred. Love alone can. This is an unalterable law. For hatred can never put an end to hatred. Only love can put an end to hatred. And that's one of the mistakes we make in the world, is we somehow think hatred is going to stop. I hate you, I hate this hate, so I'm going to stop this hate. Or we're going to stop violence with violence, or all the things we do. No, only love can stop hatred. This is an unalterable law. People forget that their lives will end soon. For those who remember, quarrels will come to an end. I'm going to read that again. People forget that their lives will end soon. And I don't care how much longer you have, or how much longer you think you have, or how much longer you actually have. You may be alive for another 50 years. You may be alive for another 60 years. You may live to be 396 and 6 months. And when those 6 months hit of your 397th year, it'll still feel like too soon. Enjoy yourself. It's later than you think. The problem you have, this is often attributed to Buddha, but I don't know if he actually said this, or if it's more of sort of a commentary on sort of like the gist of what the Buddha says. But the problem you have is you think you have more time. And so you're always postponing things. You think you have more time. People forget that their lives will end soon, says the Buddha. And the reason why you quarrel, and the reason why you act like a jerk, and the reason why all this negativity is in your life is because you think you have more time. But when you realize that your time is running out and you will die soon, you begin to think, is this how I want to spend the rest of my life, arguing with this person? Is this how I want to spend the rest of my life, hating this person? Is this how I want to spend the rest of my life, being engaged in quarrels and fights and not talking to this person and having estrangement from that person? Or do I want to spend the rest of my life in peace and joy, having good, beneficial relationships? People forget that they will die soon. Sorry, more commentary than I expected. People forget that their lives will end soon. For those who remember, quarrels come to an end. As a strong wind blows down a weak tree, Mara the tempter overwhelms weak people who, eating too much and working too little, are caught in the frantic pursuit of pleasure. As the strongest wind cannot shake a mountain, Mara the tempter cannot shake those who are self-disciplined and full of faith. Those who put on the saffron robe, and that's what the monks, the followers of Buddha, would put on the saffron robe, that signified that they were monastics and disciples of the Buddha. Those who put on saffron robes without purifying the mind, who lack truthfulness and self-control, are not fit to wear the saffron robe. I'll read that again. Those who put on the saffron robe without purifying the mind, who lack truthfulness and self-control, are not fit to wear the saffron robe. But those who have purified their minds, who are endowed with truth and self-control, are truly fit to wear the saffron robe. And this reminds me where Jesus says, not everyone who calls me Lord, not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter into the kingdom of heaven, but only those who do the will of my Father, right? Not everyone who puts on the robe is worthy of the robe. Only those who have self-control and have purified their minds. The deluded imagine trivial things to be vital to life, follow their vain fancies, and never attain the highest knowledge. But the wise, knowing what is trivial and what is vital, set their thoughts on the supreme goal and attain the highest knowledge. As rain seeps from an ill-thatched hut, passion will seep through an untrained mind. As rain cannot seep through a well-thatched hut, passion cannot seep through a well-trained mind. Since we don't live in thatched huts, so let's put it this way. As rain seeps through a leaky roof, passion will seep through an untrained mind. As rain cannot seep through a good, secure roof, passion cannot seep through the well-trained mind. Those who are selfish suffer here and hereafter. They suffer both in worlds. I'm sorry, my tongue just doesn't do its job anymore. Those who are selfish suffer here and hereafter. They suffer in both worlds from the results of their own actions. Those who are selfless rejoice here and here. Those who are selfless rejoice here and rejoice hereafter. They rejoice in both worlds from the results of their actions. Those who are selfish suffer in this life and in the next. They suffer seeing the results of the evil they have done, and more suffering awaits them in the next life. But those who are selfless rejoice in this life and in the next. They rejoice seeing the good they have done, and more joy awaits them in the next life. Those who recite many scriptures but fail to practice their teachings are like a cowherd counting another's cows. Those who recite many scriptures but fail to practice their teachings are like a cowherd counting another's cows. They do not share in the joys of the spiritual life. But those who know few scriptures yet practice their teachings, overcoming all lust, hatred, and delusion, live with a pure mind and the highest wisdom. They stand without external supports and share the joys of the spiritual life. Thus ends part 1 of the Dhammapada, with some commentary from Rainbow. Peace out.